Hello, and welcome to Stories with Dice, an actual play podcast of some of our favorite tabletop role-playing games.
Welcome back to Stories with Dice and our wonderful Tales from the Loop game. I'm Ed, as I've been for the last many episodes, and I'm joined with, or by, my wonderful co-host, Marco.
Hello, next week I'll be Ed.
What? Then I'll be Marco. That's just weird. And my lovely players, Tony.
Hello.
Douglas.
Hi there.
And Sol.
Hello.
If you're listening to us and you like what you hear, please give us a thumbs up, a like, subscribe, a follow, depending on whichever social media you're following us on. If you'd like to join us on Discord and chat to other people that are following us as well, you can do. We have a Patreon. If you want to give us lots of your money, then that's great. Or you can do it for free as well. Please do that. So I just want a quick recap of where we were from last time. Tony made the mistake of telling me he had notes. So I'm 100% going to pick on Tony.
Thank you so much.
That is okay, you sexy Spanish person.
Thank you so much. I do my best with this. Well, I have the notes for what we did on our side. I will go with that. And I think Susie I think Anthony will have to complete the rest until they join us. So what we were doing is we were in the house of the doctor that actually had created these robots. And I think we heard people coming up the stairs at some point where, after the woman came back to life, or we thought she was still dead. And then we basically hid in one of the archives room where we had the servers and all this. Mm-hmm. And then we heard these people talking, and I was like surprised because they were saying, "Oh, I'm Anders." And then we came out and it was the special agent Brigitta and the other agent, which is called Anders now, from Rick's Energy. And we started talking about, because they were like, "Oh, you need to help us." And I think Douglas made a speech about, being deputized and helping them. And he wanted to negotiate the money. He spent a lot of money with the terms, and we almost signed on this. And I think that's where Susie and Anthony arrived, more or less. We were like discussing with them on this, and they wanted us to help them out.
Cool. Well, I'll save you that. So, Sol, do you want to just fill in when Susie and Anthony turned up very briefly?
I was going to say, I don't think a lot happened. I think where we'd started last time was we'd headed to the hideout. We found their note, found out where they were, panicked a little bit. Anthony may or may not have wrecked Anders' car. I don't know what happened there, but tried to drive it as a 10-year-old, and something bad happened. Whoa, don't know who would have done that.
You traitor.
And then we ran there instead. So it took a while. And then we got there. We joined in the fun, inverted commas, that was occurring honestly, they felt like agents, but realistically, they felt like Home Alone villains pointing guns at children. Yeah, there was a lot of things going on. Anthony, what did you do to one of the Home Alone villains?
First, I would just like to say in Anthony's defense that he might have definitely crashed Anders' car had he been allowed to drive it. But Susie definitely trashed Anders' car. When we got to the house, the agents were there. Anthony overheard one of them talking to someone on his car phone. He got caught. They all got brought inside, or at least he got brought inside. I think Susie snuck inside. And he just sort of destroyed the deal that Douglas was making, because he doesn't trust these people. He thinks that he already knows that they've lied about who they are, because the police officer told Susie. So he doesn't trust them. He thinks that they're somehow involved in everything, and that they're gonna hurt him and his friends, right? And then when he went outside, I can't remember how he went outside.
They weren't holding you hostage, as it were. When you said you were going to leave, they let you just kind of go. But you went into the kitchen. They left the kitchen and went outside.
Right. I went into the kitchen looking for a phone. The phone line was dead. I went outside to use the car phone to call the cops. And then I slashed the guy's tires.
So the key thing really was that, I suppose, if I just interject, is that you were the most of the group that's going to work with these agents to kind of sort out these robots, because you'd find out that the robots were going on. We're going to do what they did with their little robots, but make them go larger. And they were these artificial intelligence that were doing this. And so the whole plan was that you and the agents were going to go ahead and get that sorted.
Well. The whole plan that half of our group needs.
Well, half the group were planning to do that. The other half, the main half.
Yeah, Susie and Anthony came in as killjoys and were like, no.
They did. In fact, Anthony called the cops on them, which put an end to that, which meant they got arrested.
However, they had mentioned a virus or something Anders had picked up on it.
They had. In fact, Anders picked up, there was a virus, which was at their hotel or motel. And Handley,
I was going to say Anders didn't know where it was at that point in time, but...
No.
But Susie mentioned something about they kidnapped her and tied her up at the motel down the road.
Mm-hmm.
At which point we were like, put 2 and 2 together. Let's go get that virus. Computer, not corona.
Yep. But you did. You got it and went back to the hideout, I believe.
Yes, that's why we
to figure out what you were going to do. I think where we left off at the end of last episode is you were all kind of like gathering your stuff to go and break into the factory and to deliver this virus. That was your plan to go.
Right. And Susie is going to use her keyboard and speakers to create a diversion or to somehow disrupt the robots. And I'm going to go with her to help her carry all that stuff back.
Yeah. So initially, many episodes ago, Susie had found out that they kind of like, you made like a smaller version of this, which disrupted the robot's electrical fields or whatever, which kind of caused them to be a bit kind of distracted and not being able to focus on what they want to do. So you kind of like upped it to a bigger level, but it does require two of you to do that.
Synthesizer and like a amp. It's great.
Yeah. And I think some judicious use of some magnetron, like, reflectors, that kind of stuff. I think you just found a whole bunch of junk that you were tinkering with to kind of do that.
I'm not going to lie. Susie's mainly looking forward to just making a really loud sound.
And then I think Sven, Anders, and Johannes are your kind of like main heavies to kind of do the heavy lifting and working.
Yeah, we are the knights of the rubbish.
Yes. You picked up loads, you basically picked up loads of rubbish, tin cans and sort of like things to make swords and shields. And Anthony was mildly impressed that you're looking a bit like a D&D group. Now, I think you left Anders to be the one to deliver the...
Johannes, because
Johannes, yes.
They're wearing the makeshift armor. I just cheated and went and borrowed some hockey stuff.
That's correct. And you've got the virus, which you're going to do. So this kind of sees the kids on it turns out it's now your 4th day of your holiday, in the sort of like, I guess, late morning, I would imagine, making your way to the factory, presumably either on bikes or walking with your big synthesizer and your speakers.
Well, I think we're probably walking, but using the bike as like, so we can wheel it along, if you know what I mean.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So are you going to go back to where you were before at the factory, or are you going to choose a different angle of entry?
Well, we said to go back because we know where the servers are, where we need to inject the virus, right? It was on this basement area. So we know how to get in unless they change anything. And I think we were gonna go that route, if I remember.
Mm-hmm. Although if we cut like the hole like quite far away from the factory, so we probably, if we needed to cut a new one, do it closer.
Yeah. If you remember, you've got the factory has got a large chain link fence around. There's 2 buildings, a big sort of factory building on 2 floors, and then a warehouse, which is on 1 floor. There's a security shack outside on a gate. And then towards the back, there are loads of containers, shipping containers, old automobiles, old magnetron, like ships and stuff, sort of all just cluttered in the back, rusting, which all kind of abuts the chain link fence towards we'll call it the north side of the facility. What was the plan?
I don't think we have a plan.
We're just kids. We don't have a plan. We do stuff.
There was a plan, but it involved help from our agent friends who were going to make a distraction, and that plan is gone.
That's what Susie and Anthony are for.
I'm so glad I'm not here to listen to it.
Yes.
And Johannes just complain.
That's okay. We're going to play Smash the Marketplace by the Screaming Blue Messiahs. And
that's what Anthony requested. Was there, Ed, a microphone in the security shack?
Was there? Do you know what? Why don't why don't you make a roll? I think you can try and blag what skill/attribute you think you can use to
Investigate. I would love empathize, but that does not make sense. Is there anything else I could? No, not really. All right, we'll just go for it. 5 dice, 1 success.
Excellent. Yes, there was a microphone, and you think it probably links to a PA system or something.
Yeah, let's see about getting into that.
So I'm guessing the strategy could be that you and Anthony go on the security shack to make the distraction, while Johannes, Anders, and myself, we go through the back and try to get in to the basement. Is that it?
Sounds good. Sounds about as tactical as a bunch of 10 to 15-year-olds think of.
We need to bring the cutters to cut the fence in case we need.
Yep, that's fine. Okay. So presumably you're going to wait sort of a short while for Susie and Anthony to go and do all that, and then you'll kind of go in.
I reckon we'd probably meet up at the copse of trees just beforehand so that we can make that plan. Because I think we're all just going to grab some stuff. We have a vague idea about what we're going to do, and then we're going to go and meet back up and prepare the assault.
Okay, so we'll kind of leave the kids sort of like there's some trees behind the factory, so you guys can be in the trees making a plan.
He's going to redraw the factory on the floor.
Yeah.
So you arrive with your big microphone and your keyboard and all this stuff.
I couldn't have done it without Mr. Muscles over here.
Yeah, we got it handled, Sven. Don't worry.
Okay. You think you can handle that? But
And this will definitely work.
I think we can handle it. We know we can handle it.
Absolutely. I even saw there's a microphone system, I think, in the security shack. That might be even better. If we can get access to that, we could probably play the sound across the entire factory. So
how do we get
just the outside?
How do we get past the guard?
Well, that's where we create a distraction as the distraction team for the distraction team.
Whoa, that's some deep level thinking, Susie.
We got it handled though, right, Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow, don't see this. How do you plan to distract this? I'm lost.
Don't worry. All you have to worry about is getting inside, and you'll know.
We have multiple things that make noise, and we're going to make some noise. Okay?
We're not the one of us should go with you. One of the, I don't know, Anders perhaps should go with you to get some muscle in.
Well, if we fail as like the people going in, it's game over for all of us anyway.
Yeah.
If, they fail, we might still succeed. And then we win, regardless of whether they get caught or not.
Good point.
Don't worry, guys. We're going to make our death save. We're going to do this.
What?
Death saves?
That's a D&D thing, yes.
At least someone read the material.
Not going to lie, Anthony, I thought it was a metal band.
Of who is sciencey? Johannes, you can do the virus thingy. I really don't understand computers. Can you do some science? For Anders, can you do some science? I will just hold the robots back. That's all I can do.
Yeah, you just put the disk in the drive and press the button and it goes in.
Yeah, but normally these kind of things have programs you need to run.
Yeah, you'll probably have to select the drive and type in run and hit return.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, return and control break. Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
You have a computer, right, Johannes? You know what you're doing. What do you have? You have a Spectrum?
No, I've used the one at the school before.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. They all look the same to me.
I think Anders has like a TI-99, don't you?
Yeah, it was my brother's.
My gosh, so why aren't you doing it, Anders?
I'll just hold up the iron bar and the old dustbin lid and go, what? Doing this.
It's fine. If I run into trouble, I'll just shout for some input.
And you were questioning the noise brigade. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I like that. I like that name, the Noise Brigade.
Sounds like a group, like a rock band.
Yeah, we're going to open up for the Ramones.
Ah, great. That will be the signal. That's the signal. You put Blitzkrieg Pop, and we go in.
I don't know if Susie has Blitzkrieg Pop, but I'm pretty sure she has Queen and maybe the Screaming Blue Messiahs. Yeah, that
somewhere.
What have you done with the one remaining robot that's left? It's still in your rucksack.
No, remember I gave it to the cops.
Yes, somebody
gave it to the cops. That's it. I remember.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Very sorry to have ruined your plan, Ed.
God damn it! Well, there goes that story. No, that's perfectly fine. Carry on.
I don't like it where he said that.
Let's get the noise brigade noising.
Okay. I take it you and Susie are not going to be trying to sneak up to the security shack. You're going to be quite blatant about it.
I think so. Remember where we were before? It's just like a little bush off to the right hand side. Like we weren't. It was a little hard to get up to. I think what we do is we go there as like an initial one, and that's to like bait the security guy out because he's a cyborg, right? So he'll be affected, and then, or at least distracted, and then we'll work out a way of sneaking in, and then we'll then attach it to the PA system, and then we can blow this place even louder.
I like it.
And while they do that, you're going to go in through the back and hopefully sneak in and deliver the virus. How hard can it be?
Exactly.
Easy peasy.
Okay. Okie dokie. So, I will ask for Susie and Anthony to make some sneaking rolls to get to, we'll call it staging area.
All right, guys, we're going. First, you'll hear some noise, but the signal is the music. All right, you got it?
4 dice and 1 success for Anthony.
Excellent.
That's 4 dice and no successes. I'm going to take the scared condition and put.
Okay. Go on then. No more successes. You were indeed pooping your pants. You were a little bit scared. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but now you're actually doing it. It's another thing entirely.
Yeah, well, I remember how it went last time, and it's I'm getting cold feet,
You kind of make your way to the sort of like bushes and stuff, and you kind of stop, hold yourself for a second, and you see the security guard come back out. He's the older man with sort of like big cash, the grey hair. He's quite a bit overweight, and he steps out of the security shack, and he points one finger in your direction and says, "What are you two doing?"
Ed, is this the same security guard as last time?
It's exactly the same security guard.
Does he have a thing on his ear?
He doesn't have anything on his ear, but when you look at him, he just looks like he's got big rings under his eyes. He doesn't look like he's probably slept since you first saw him.
Susie, I got this. So I stand up and I wave and I go, hey, you, asshole, remember me? And then I start moving away from Susie so that his focus is on me.
Yeah, it's well and truly on you. He hasn't moved away from the security shack. He's standing sort of like outside the security shack, but on the road that leads into the facility. And he kind of points at his feet and says, "Why don't you come and say that over here?"
Okay, tough guy. So I'm like looking, like giving Susie the eye, like, get ready to make her move. So I walk up to the security officer, but not within. I make sure to stay outside of, his reach.
You reckon
basically.
You've probably got the mobility of him. Okay.
Remember me, asshole?
He lowers his head and kind of like shakes it.
Did you fix the phone?
He flashes you a really, really annoyed look. He does that as he's still yawning, he says, as he kind of lets out this deep sort of grumble from the inside of his chest. "Just go away."
So wait, Ed, you said he doesn't have the thing on the side of his head?
No. I thought you said something on his ear. He doesn't have any like kind of like security kind of thing.
No, I didn't necessarily mean that. I meant
when you look on, you couldn't really see properly from there anyway, but as soon as you got closer, you can definitely see that he's got the stitches.
Why don't you come out here, tough guy? You want to fight a 10-year-old? Like, you're pathetic. That fuck.
He kind of like does that sort of like couple of shuffle steps forward to kind of go and grab you. There's no way he's going to grab you. And he just he shakes his head, then turns around and walks back towards the security shack.
All right, is there something, are there like, stones or bottles?
There's loads of stones and stuff.
All right, I'm going to chuck one at him.
Okay. Yeah, you throw some stones at him. It kind of hits him on his back and the back of his head, and he turns around and goes, "Cut it out."
Come over here and make me.
He starts to sort of like trudge his way towards you. In the meantime, Sven, Johannes, and Anders is in the back.
Okay. We're sneaking in, getting close to the fence, to the place where we cut last time to see if it is still open.
It looks like someone has sort of used more links to sort of shut that back up. All right. You start to cut the fence again. Step. It doesn't take you long. They're not particularly strong, and you open up the fence. You can get through. Who's going first?
Go first.
Could you please make for me an investigation roll or investigate roll?
I got 2 successes.
2 successes. Cool. You go to do that, and then you realize that something is being done to the ground that you're about to walk on. As you just about to step on, basically the ground had loads of sort of rusted bits of metal, dirt, and sort of gravel and stuff on. And you realize that someone's actually placed something under the dirt and the bits of gravel and stuff. It's all been kind of moved, and you kind of almost put your foot on whatever this thing is, and you kind of take your foot off.
I said, "Oh, that's watch out! I think there might be a trap here. Jim, go around." I go around.
Okay. Yeah, you go around. So you make your way around sort of like some old rusted container parts, various other sort of like mechanical parts. You have to kind of like make your way through all that. It's just a bit more of a kind of hard thing rather than the thing to go straight across. Okay. And Anders and Johannes, you're going to do the same thing. Please, can I have a move roll that includes? So that's Sven, Anders, and Johannes. Let me know if anyone fails.
Yep.
Can we have a winner?
Okay, Pete, you did not pass.
Johannes.
Yep, Janice failed as well.
Johannes failed as well. Excellent. So you kind of try and get across and move, and yeah, you've got to kind of get through all the sort of like horrible rusted bits of metal and stuff. Just seems to be quite tough to do that.
It's my corrugated iron greaves that I'm wearing at the moment.
Yes.
Make it difficult.
So there's a lot of kind of like scratching, and as it kind of catches some of the bits of metal that you're wearing, or indeed the hockey shin guards and stuff, it kind of like cuts and pulls at that. You reckon that if you hadn't been wearing that, you probably would have had quite a few scratches on your legs and probably tetanus shots to be had. But yeah, you make your way around the trap, in inverted commas. Okay, and now you're sort of like going to run across that opening that is like a sort of road that kind of goes around the factory. So you've got to cross the road to get to the other side of the road where the factory is. Okay. It seems very quiet. You can't see anything. There's no noise going on.
Okay. Can anyone hear any distractions going on?
Not yet.
No, we should probably wait here until we hear the noise.
Back to the distraction.
Cool. After Anthony's throwing stones, how's the guy reacting?
So he's kind of like shouted them and kind of like walked forward a bit. So he's away from the security shack again, probably no more than sort of like 5 or 6 meters away from the security shack. He's only going as far as the road that goes into the facility. He's not really chasing Anthony, but he's pointing his finger at him, and you can see he's getting very, very annoyed.
Susie's panicking, and she's like, hasn't seen whether there's like the stitches on, can't really tell, has seen that this guy is incredibly cool. And so out of her pocket, she pulls like the nighttime go to bed soundtrack, which is just filled with like classical music, but the calm classical music, the nursery rhymes, whale noises, whatever.
And
Designed to put, designed to send you off to sleep.
and
she's like, I have an idea. So instead of using the synthesizer for this one, I'm going to pop that into my tape recorder. I'm going to attach it up to the amp, and I'm going to play soothing music, not too loudly, but loud enough that he can hear it coming out of the bushes. Play nursery rhyme, could be playing anything, and I want to put this man to sleep.
I mean, it's a novel way of doing it. Yeah. So yeah,
it's a novel way. It feels like a very kid approach to this.
I like it. I love it. So Anthony, you can hear sort of like some music coming out from behind the bushes. It's definitely not the kind of music you were expecting
or hoping for.
The guy's kind of like looking in that direction. And weirdly enough, he starts to yawn. He hasn't fallen asleep, but he's definitely blinking his eyes and rubbing his eyes.
Do cyborgs dream?
I think I've heard of a book about that.
Because I know what you are.
He kind of sort of shakes his head at you. He seems a little confused. I'm going to call the police, he says, as he turns around and goes back towards the...
I rush him to try to like knock him down, even though he's 10 times my size, probably.
Okay. Make a force roll. You're going to need at least 2 successes.
Can I use my luck point?
Yeah. If you fail, he's going to basically grab you, but you're not going to be able to get out.
I know I used the luck point last session, but is it
new session? Is perfectly fine.
Okay. So
you've got 1 million because you're 10.
Right. Okay. So force, you said, right?
Yes, please. So force, and I think it's strong, is it?
Body plus force.
Body, sorry. Wrong game.
Look at that. I didn't even need to use my luck point. Oh, no. I need two successes. Right.
You need 2 successes, and you've got 1 success. So you could use a luck point to get that extra success.
Do that.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, you basically rush him. You put your shoulder into it, and you catch him at the back of the knee, and he goes sprawling face first towards the gap between the shack and the road. And he falls face first into sort of like the gravelly bit that's on the side of the road. And there is a dust cloud that emits around him as he lands.
Then I'll yell, Susie, do it now.
Quick run and pick up the synth.
And
Oh, I don't need the amp. I just need the synth, right?
Yeah, you've got your sort of small version. Okay. Yep.
Although she does think of another idea. She's also going to sort of rip the cord out from the amp as well. So I've got Walkman in one hand, or my recorder in one hand. I've got the synthesizer in the other, and all the cords. I just start running out of the bush towards the security office.
You make a mad dash across the road. Actually, what you're doing with the security guard, he's kind of like making some muffled noises as he's trying to like move around and get up.
Yeah, I'm going to like kick at the dirt and the gravel into his face to keep him, so that it gets into his eyes, to keep him, hopefully from getting.
Yeah, he's finding it very difficult to get up. And then as soon as you start kicking the dirt and stuff into his face, he's obviously he's laying down, trying to keep you from kicking the dirt and stones into his face. And so he's kind of really preoccupied with just you annoying him, and which means he can't get up, he can't use all his hands to kind of like push himself up. Susie runs past you both and into the security shack.
First things first, I'm going to find the microphone, find where it's plugged into. What kind of cabling are we doing? Is it just fully manually, like?
Yeah. It's good old fashioned 1980s kind of cabling. Whatever that might be. Not being an electrician myself, I can tell you. But yeah, you want to kind of like faff it out. You can just make a straight tinker roll for me.
Sure. Well, this is the thing. Like, I'm not going to start ripping things apart, but I'm going to take a look.
Yep.
If I think I can like unplug it and then just plug it straight into the synth, or plug something in, just
that makes sense.
Get the electrical cable, make something happen. Because I mean, realistically, all we're doing is sending electrical pulses down the same wire.
Make it comprehend roll.
Sure. I mean, I've just taught myself into exactly the same role, but that's fine. I do not know anything about this.
You got to look at it and go, you had an idea of exactly what you needed to do. And then when you get there, it wasn't exactly what you were expecting.
She goes, screw it. I'm going to like use one of the wires, tie it around the microphone so that it holds the
button down.
And then I'm just going to start. I'm just going to put heavy weight on one of the synth and just make a noise into the microphone. So it's really gravelly. It's really awful. And that's what I'm doing. Okay.
Anthony, what are you doing?
The stuff on the side of his head that signifies that he's been turned into a cyborg. Is that on the side that's facing me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to just start. Is it like if there are any wires or if there's like a plate or something?
No. It's just stitches.
Okay.
So everything's inside his head.
All right. I'm just going to keep kicking dirt into his face, maybe even kick his face a little bit.
Okay, that's fine. All right, then. You're just kicking it.
And there's just this high-pitched whine.
Which you hear. Yeah, this horrible whining noise comes through the speakers, which you all three can hear at the back, as you can hear it sort of making a noise inside the factory.
And yes, Anthony is kicking a man while he's down.
That boy's got some unresolved issues.
If I wasn't so scared, I would be bringing it up.
Well, they said music, but that doesn't sound like any music I've heard. It hurts my ears.
Yeah, I don't know if we should give it like 1 more minute to see what's going on.
Well, let's see if it causes any reaction, because, we want them to actually leave if it's going to be distracting.
Yeah, good point.
Okay.
We hold position.
Okay, you hold position. Right. So, Anthony.
Yes.
Could you continue to make a force roll for me? Again, you need 2 successes for this guy.
Yeah, I'm rolling 2 dice when I do this, right?
Yep.
Just pointing it out.
Okay. Right. Ticket, no successes?
No successes. I'm sorry.
No successes. Yeah, you kind of like kick him and you sort of like kick some dirt in his face some more. You kind of your foot actually makes contact with his sort of like side of his face. While you're doing that, he kind of grabs your leg, and in his big meaty hands, he just pulls you down and across, and it's like he's moving around like a little doll. And he essentially throws you sort of while he's on the floor, and he rolls you off the road and into sort of like the gravel and grass on the other side as he then starts to get up. You're all scraped and bruised, and sort of like you've got sort of like a bit of road rash to your chin, sort of like jeans or whatever you're wearing is sort of like a bit ripped.
Yeah, I stand up, and I'm also, wearing my big brother's old army jacket, which is obviously a few sizes too big for him. I get up and I'm like patting my clothing, to like get some of the dirt and dust off. And I'm just like, I meant to do that.
Yep. As you're patting it down, you suddenly feel something that you hadn't felt before in the jacket, like a little pin or something.
What is this? Is it in a pocket?
No, it seems like it's sewn into sort of part of the jacket's seams.
So if the guy's not immediately coming after me, I'll try to find a way to like maybe tear into the lining or something to get at it.
As you start to do that, you kind of like, I'm sort of like trying to grab at the little pin thing. You kind of grab something in the pulse. You haven't actually seen it yet. It's still in the seam, and you feel sort of like a click. And as that happens, you suddenly see this heat haze here around the security guard, and the heat haze suddenly gets bright for just a brief second, and then the security guard disappears.
Whoa, what? Susie, did you,
what the? Susie's currently like trying to like saw what happened before with the phone, and is trying to like disconnect it.
Okay. The phone's not been fixed.
The phone hasn't been fixed. Good. She was just double checking that, and she steps outside and goes, "Anthony, you all right?"
Yeah, I just made the guy disappear with something in my brother's jacket.
You just scared him off, right?
No. He like disappeared into thin air.
I'll leave you there for a second. Alice, you see from just off to your right-hand side, a number of these small robots appear on your side of the street, as it were, coming out of the various rusted metal containers.
Okay.
There's probably a good 50 or 60 of them, and you can definitely see that they're sort of like in groups of sort of like 10 or 15, and they're kind of making their way through the sort of like rusted metal parts that are on your side of the fence.
So the distraction is not working because they're going to find us in the rebel.
So it looks like they've actually come out from behind you. So it looks like they've come from the forest behind you. You've gone into the facility, and they look like they're coming into the facility as well.
I guess I'll just get the other two's attention and be like, I think we're out of time, guys.
You kind of wave as you wave. Are you going to point at one of them or something like that?
Well, yes, I will gesture in that direction.
Cool. So Anders, Sven, you also see a number of these little robots coming out of the sort of like all sort of like rusted sort of bits and pieces that are in the back. And you definitely see sort of, in fact, Sven, you actually see Fierce Optimus, the leader, calling sort of a bunch of the others. You can see sort of like the big red Scania truck, one of them, there's a police car. They're all sort of in their robot form, and you can see them kind of looking around left and right. Then they rush out into the road away from you. They literally run past you. And as they run past you, you can see that you haven't seen before, lying in wait on the other side, a whole bunch of the Megaton Primes, the black snowmobile with the toy laser, the helicopter, all also in robot form, rush out. And the two meet each other in the middle of the road, and they start fighting.
Are we well hidden from them if we try to get into the basement?
They basically have obviously ignored you as you've kind of like either through them or past them, or they've come behind you. It looks like the robots were waiting for you to kind of come across the road, but because you didn't, they were just still waiting. And then these other robots or similar robots have rushed in, and now they all seem to be fighting. You could run through them, but that means you'd have to actually get in. Right, run between the robots that are fighting.
To be those now, maybe, I guess.
That noise doesn't appear to be disabling them or anything, like Susie said it would.
Look, I have a plan. Anders, if you're going to provide cover, you, Johannes, you run and get in the basement. Okay? We'll just keep them out there. You run, man. Just run. Are you ready, Anders?
Yeah. Say when and run in with you.
Let's go.
Can you make move rolls for me, please? Let me know if anyone fails.
So Sven did it 1 second.
Okay.
Anders failed.
Okay.
There's one success.
One success for Anders. So, Anders, did you want to push your roll? Would you like to use your pride of any use to kind of...
I've already used my pride this
What's
adventure.
the last session?
Your luck, perhaps?
Oh yeah,
Oh, you've got luck?
I've got
Yeah.
1 luck left, so
Okay.
I suppose I can re-roll.
No, luck is one
No.
success.
One success. One
One
success.
success. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll spend that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you all rush as you run through all these little robots. There's probably a good 150 of them in total, all fighting each other. And they're really brutal. You can see arms being taken off. They seem to have fashioned various sort of like little weapons. You can see a couple of them have made little kind of pop guns that seem to be working quite well. And you have to sort of like run through them. A couple of you have got, because you've all got sort of like the protection around your ankles, you kind of feel a couple of blows land as you're running through, and as you make your way towards those stairs. As you're making your way towards the stairs, we will cut away back to Susie and Anthony.
Susie, you have to go help the guys now, because I have a secret weapon.
Gosh, the guys, I said I was going to play music. Hang on. I'm going to rush on back in, and it doesn't matter because we've got it all like, I'm just using the microphone playing this horrendous noise.
My question to you, Susie, is: are you going to use the setup you use with the amp, or are you going to not do that? You're just going to play music.
What do you mean?
So, are you going to use the weird, strange noise thing that you created, or are you just going to use your synth to kind of like log into it? So the thing that disrupts it is the fact that you've made this like weird device using the synth and the to do it all. You're going to use that on the microphone, or are you just
I'm going to set that up in the... If that's what's disrupting them, then yeah. That's the intention. Okay. I'm not. But along with that, I'm going to play some music over the top. So it's going to be a right cacophony.
Right, okay.
And so in amongst the loud noise, no, I'm going to put it to the crowd. What is playing?
Smash the marketplace.
That's what Anthony wanted.
Here, Gabriel.
It's the fight of capitalism versus non-capitalism. Except you're all wrong. It's Take On Me, aha.
Amazing.
Nicely played.
Okay, so to the booming sounds of aha, you're running across the road. Susie and Anthony are going to grab all the equipment that's needed to do this and running back, hopefully in time that, your fellow kids are not going to kind of be skewered by anything. As Sven, Johannes, and Anders get to the stairs going down into the basement. And standing on the top of the stairs, you can see Megaton Prime. He is bigger than you remember him. He's sort of like standing sort of like knee height to you. And he is holding in his hand like a sharpened steak knife or something. And he looks at you and his little robot eyes glare bright electric blue. And he says, "You will not pass